What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Episode 4 here of the Sports Corner. As usual, I am Joe. I've got a new co-host with me this week, as you can see.
Hey guys, my name's Corey. Thanks for watching the podcast. Just a little background on me. Sports fan my entire life. I'm a Sox fan as opposed to Joey, who's a Cubs fan.
Hey-o.
And my background in sports, I've played all of them throughout the course of my life, the most recent being in high school when I played for Providence Catholic High School football. And it's a little bit about me. I go to Lewis University. And Joey, take over.
All right, man. Thanks for being here, big guy. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
We've still got Jack here. Big Jack's in the studio
Still
today.
here? Just got my own segment this time?
Yeah, he's got his own little show today.
You'll still see me.
He just introduced his own little segment for you, right?
Sure
there.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Sure did.
like I said, Jack would be back. I wasn't kidding about that. So, good to have him back. Good to have a little squad down here in the studio today. All right. So today for you guys, we got a little bit of NBA, a little bit of NFL, a lot of baseball going on today with the Cubs making moves, the Sox making the headlines, not for good reasons.
Chris Sale, baby!
And a little bit of Hall of Fame talk. We had the induction for the MLB Hall of Fame yesterday in Cooperstown, so just a little bit of opinion on that. We're going to jump right into it here. NBA, Tyronn Lue just won the NBA championship in his first half season as a head coach.
Yep.
I say half because David Blatt was fired after like 50 games, and he took over for Cleveland. So Tyronn Lue gets 5 years, $35 million, $7 million a year for this guy who's coached about 40 games in his head coaching career.
That's about right.
Yeah. What are we taking away from this right here?
I mean, he gets $7 million a year to tell the rest of the team to get LeBron James the ball. I don't know what else you can really say about that. He's probably got the easiest job in all of sports, I would think, with the best player on the planet. And yeah, I'm pretty sure one of us could do that job.
100%. Yeah, I'm on the same boat as this. This is undeserved, I think would be the correct word here.
Asinine?
Yeah, asinine?
Asinine.
Oh, sorry.
Asinine's not a word.
Asinine is not a word.
See, we educate the audience, too, because asinine is not a word.
Educate me.
But, yeah, well, Tyronn Lue was LeBron James' hand-picked replacement for David Blatt, because they never really got along, LeBron and David Blatt. So,
and LeBron walked all over him. He coached that team, in my opinion.
I don't. Whoever's in charge, it's LeBron's team regardless, all the way up to general management, making player personnel decisions. So LeBron runs the show, and if Tyronn Lue's just going to get out of LeBron's way, then that's what they're signing him to the extension for.
My thing about this is, you know it's LeBron's show. You know it's LeBron's kind of his town, really, his city. Why are you paying a guy $7 million to do a job that somebody could do for $2 million?
Because LeBron made that decision.
I just don't agree with that. I don't know.
I mean, if you were to bring in another coach, that's just another guy that who is going to try to assert himself that LeBron feels he doesn't have to answer to, whereas he's got his own hand-picked guy here in Tyronn Lue who is going to create the appearance of being in charge of the team, but LeBron knows he's completely in control at all times. He's the alpha dog on that team.
And I guess the other thing is that I'm thinking about here is, all right, he's kind of forced. You're kind of forced to sign him to an extension of some sort because he did just win a title, and you're not going to go and just say, all right, thanks, we'll see you later, after you win a title, in a town that hadn't had a major sports championship in 50 years. So,
but I mean, Cleveland's management has proven before that they're willing to abide by what LeBron wants. I mean, David Blatt got to the finals.
Right. And
I know that's not the same as winning a title, and it was expected for them to win a title, but at the same time, he did coach the team to the title, to the finals, depending on however you define coach when LeBron's in charge. So if LeBron tells him, I want Tyronn Lue to be my head coach for the indefinite future, then they're going to do that.
Yeah.
You can't just re-sign him to a 5-year, $15 million, $20 million contract when you see Tibbs getting locked up for ridiculous money in Minnesota, and our Bulls, I'm pretty sure, locked up Fred Hoiberg for a similar figure.
I mean, there's also a difference there between Tibbs and Tyronn Lue. But
Well,
yeah, obviously there's a huge gap there. But yeah, I don't know, Cleveland. You got to do what you got to do, I guess. You're kind of, in my opinion, you're forced to do this.
As long as LeBron's there, he's running that
and
team.
as long as he's happy, you got to keep happy LeBron, happy.
That's
life.
right, because he still hasn't
He still
signed
hasn't
a
signed
contract.
Back. No, he's still a free agent technically.
He's still a free agent. So if they were to, lowball Tyronn Lue or have something where Tyronn Lue doesn't sign an extension, that angers the best player in the world.
They've already seen that shenanigans go down.
They saw him take off from Miami.
They sure did.
Don't want to see it again.
Real quick here, if you're looking, you're watching, you see this hat on the table here.
Jesus Christ.
This hat is a product from FreshLeats.com. This shirt's also a product from FreshLeats.com. Fresh Leats, if you're watching this, sponsor me. I wear your products all the time. You guys make great stuff. If you guys see it, you guys like it, make sure you check out FreshLeats.com. So yeah, it's a good little website, good little clothing line. So Fresh Leats, yo, hit me up with the sponsorship, man. I'd really love to wear even more of your products that I can't afford because I'm still a broke college kid. But yeah, if you guys want to check out FreshLeats.com, go ahead and do that. All right, let's hop right back into that NBA. Sorry for that little plug there. But
I have no comment on that.
Oh man,
I'm just here.
Whatever. Whatever. So Russell Westbrook came out today and said he wants to remain a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. What's your thoughts on that one?
Let's see if he says that when his free agency hits. I mean, what else can he really say right now?
Well, he said this. He said, I want to remain a member of the Thunder for this season, and then I want to see where it takes me in the offseason when I'm a free agent. I want to play the market. He didn't say he's going to sign. He just said he wants to stay there for this year, does not want to be traded.
Well, I feel like if he stays in OKC, he's going to get a max contract regardless when his free agency hits. But I feel like he maximizes his value by staying in OKC because he is 200% the alpha dog there right now. He doesn't have to fight with Kevin Durant, who some people think is the second best player on the planet.
He is.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But I'm sure the Golden State Warrior fans might have some conversations with you about Steph Curry, but it's okay. It's okay. He is.
Agree to disagree.
Well, he is for sure the alpha dog there now, and you see what happens when these crazy athletic point guards are given their own free reign when they don't have to answer to anybody else. When I see Russell Westbrook play, I think of Derrick Rose before he tore his ACL, and how Derrick Rose had that one year, I believe it was 2010, where he absolutely just dominated the league and won the MVP. Russell Westbrook should be the number one best odds candidate to win the NBA MVP this year because he is dynamic on his own and he has to share the ball with nobody really. He doesn't have another superstar on his team. He's going to put the entire team on his back.
And my argument to that is he already had this opportunity. Durant basically missed a whole season, not this year but last, and they didn't make the playoffs. So I mean, is he gonna carry the team? Yes. I mean they were the 14th pick in the draft, so that means they were basically the first team out of the playoff race. So, I mean, is it smart for them as a team to keep him and be mediocre in the middle of the pack? No, it's not.
Well, I would...
It's smart for him, you're saying, to maximize his value.
Yeah, because, who's the second best player on that roster right now? Is it Oladipo?
Yeah, probably. I would say Oladipo.
Victor Oladipo? He is going to... I really do feel like if I had to put money on an NBA MVP candidate, I would put it on Russell Westbrook for this year. Because he can do things that Chicago Bulls fans remember seeing with Derrick Rose. I think he does it better than Derrick Rose used to, but he really will take this league by storm. Again, his own.
Right. He's going to take like 30 shots a game. No doubt in my mind. He's going to shoot the light.
And you're going to see games next year where he puts up 45, 50... 55.
Consistently.
You're going to see that pretty often, more so than you would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Russell, good luck to you, buddy. So C.J. McCollum, the Portland Trailblazers shooting guard, got a max deal today. I think it's a smart decision for Portland. You got to keep this kid, and the salary cap. Obviously, we've talked about this before on the show. It's gone up ridiculously. So you've got money. He's a young kid. He's got a lot of talent. He had a great year this year. Absolutely phenomenal numbers this year. So
Yeah, he averaged over 20 points a game this previous season, and he won the NBA's Most Improved Player this past season. He is still only 24 years old, I believe. And while you may not necessarily agree with offering max contract money to players who are not necessarily superstars, you got to lock up what you have, what you've drafted. And with the salary cap increase, they have the money to afford it. So I feel like they won't regret this deal. But at the same time, if we're talking about if he's worth it, I'm not too sure.
No, I'm not. I'm exactly where you're at with this. You gotta lock him up. He's young. I'd say he's sort of proven. Obviously, he proved it last year, but I always want to see that on a consistent basis from players, because in the NBA, you could see that drop off where he gets hurt and he never comes back the same. We know that really well here in Chicago.
You and I had the same conversation. Last summer when Jimmy Butler hit his free agency.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Butler had a somewhat similar season scoring-wise, and the difference is Jimmy is now the alpha dog on the team with Derrick Rose gone, but we never thought that Jimmy Butler was worth, $95 million over 5 years?
No.
Absolutely not. But it's what you pay for the talent that there is when you have all this money due to the salary cap going up.
That's the market now. Right.
It is what it is.
And on the flip side of that market, just something I thought was kind of funny. Dion Waiters, this is a guy that's been on like 3 teams now. He was on the Cavs. He went to the Thunder. Joins the Miami Heat today. Last summer, talking about how he wants a maximum contract. He wants a max deal. Thinks he's worth all this money. Signs today for 1 year, $2.9 million in Miami. So basically, he's going to be the shooting guard there where Dwayne Wade left to go to Chicago. Wow. That's all I can say to you, Dion Waiters.
You know what? Kind of feel for the guy a little bit. You see everybody just doling out this money. What was it? Timothy Mozgov got $70 million from the Lakers, and Dion Waiters has to settle for 2.9. Was it?
Well, yeah, 2.9. Luol Deng got $72 million.
Yeah, Dion Waiters was nothing overly special in the first place.
He was terrible last year.
Yeah,
he was so bad to watch.
He's more of a name than anything else, and I do think, given the way the money is being given out in the NBA today, he probably should be making more than $2.9 million. But I feel like that's a relative steal for Miami. I
saw a meme on Twitter today. It was Dion Waiters' face on LeBron James' body from the set of The Decision years ago, and it was Dion Waiters is taking his bricks to South Beach. So that kind of sums that signing up to me, at least, because that guy was just absolute trash last year. So. It basically covers everything I wanted to cover in the NBA. Now I want to move on to some NFL stuff. Not too heavy on the NFL just yet. That will be coming in the next few weeks, obviously. But today, one of my favorite receivers from our childhood, from basically growing up, he's played 10 seasons in the NFL. I think Greg Jennings calls it quits today. He hangs it up. When I think of Greg Jennings, all I think about is that video, the broken leg. Team on my back, dog.
The one I tagged you in on Twitter today. Or tagged Vinny in on Twitter, you saw, yeah.
Yeah, it's but no, an all-around great receiver. He's a good guy. I've seen him on TV now a few times. He was actually on the TV show Ballers last week. So he's out there living the life. Congrats on a great career, Greg. Have fun in retirement. That's all I can really say. He had a really nice career. One of my favorite players from, growing up watching football on TV. So
I can't say he was one of my favorites because he played against the Bears, but when he was with the Packers, very prolific receiver. They had and still have a fantastic receiving core over the course of however many years he's been in, ever since I think he came in the league when Donald Driver was still around as well. So he's been around for a while, and he put up some real good numbers with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, I believe.
Yeah.
So good on you. Have a great retirement, man.
Sad to see you go. Yeah, but everyone's got to call it quits at some point. Junior Gillette, linebacker for the Washington Redskins, tears his Achilles for the second consecutive year. Today, out for the season for the second consecutive year.
The belt beater?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain that one.
So, when Joey came up with this topic to discuss Junior Gillette today, I hadn't heard of his injury news, first of all. I actually had to ask Joey what team he played for, because The last time I heard of Junior Galette was the controversy of a video on the internet where he beat a woman with a belt on the beach. And we're not trying to turn this into a domestic violence discussion or anything like that, but that's the last I heard of him. I didn't even know he was still playing, but it's because he's been injured for the previous 2 years. And that was when he was in New Orleans, and Washington picked him up because of that entire controversy. He was let go of from the Saints. And they brought him in to be another great, good pass rusher. He had, in the 2 previous seasons where he was actually healthy, he had double-digit sacks both years. He has 31.5 career sacks. So he can get after the passer when he's healthy, but I can't say I feel too bad for the guy.
No, I don't feel bad for him at all.
He's kind of a bad guy.
Yeah, he's not a good person. So have fun getting that Achilles sewn up again, big guy. Hopefully you retire. That's all I would say.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Get some help, please.
Another kind of not too well respected guy around the NFL
for different reasons.
Well, yeah, different reasons, obviously. But Josh Gordon, he will be back this year. This guy, talent-wise, can do just about anything you'd like a receiver to do. He's got speed, he's got size. He runs routes pretty well. So we know he's had those problems in the past with the marijuana. Leaving him with suspensions. He's been selling used cars or something.
He was a used car dealer for a while. I don't know how long that lasted, but
so he's coming back this year. The Browns need all the help they can get, but this guy is just he's problems, plain and simple.
Yeah, obviously for different reasons than Junior Galette. The guy smoked some weed. We're not going to get into what we think about it, but it rules are rules, and when you have the opportunity to be paid millions of dollars, which is what he would have gotten. I believe he's still on his rookie contract to a certain extent. I don't know how long he has left in there, but because of his suspensions, he's actually not accumulated that service time, even though he's been a prolific receiver when he's been on the field, like Joey has said. I know for a fact that I'll be looking to draft him late rounds in some fantasy football because the guy can do it all. He's fast. He's got great size. Let's just hope that he realizes that marijuana is going to get him in trouble again. We say that. We say, how do these guys not get it? But this is what? How many suspensions has he had?
2 or 3. This guy.
2 or 3 for smoking marijuana.
Yeah, same thing over and over again.
I mean, if you have the opportunity to make millions of dollars, you see the money that Alshon Jeffrey is probably going to get signed to and that Julio Jones makes. He could be up there with them, and he can't put down the pot.
No, I don't know why. It seems pretty easy from our eyes, looking down, I guess, from our ivory towers, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, dude, put down the marijuana and get on the football field.
I would do a lot of things for millions of dollars.
Oh yeah,
I would be able to put down the weed for a but I don't think it's that much of a problem. He needs to grow up a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I don't get it at all. But I guess best of luck to you. I hope he works it out. I hope he gets a good path going. Johnny Manziel on that team. When he was on that team, is he still on the Browns technically? No, he's not, right?
No, the Browns cut him.
Browns cut him.
Yeah. Is it bad? I don't even know who their quarterback is going to be this year.
Well, they still have.
They're that irrelevant.
I think. They're very irrelevant, but they've got RG3 there. I mean.
That's right. They did sign RG3. My mistake.
He's going to start.
Yeah, Josh Gordon's still going to have 12 games left. He's going to show.
Oh, he can tear it up.
Yeah, he'll be ready to go, and you should be expecting him to have over 1,000 yards receiving this year in 12 games, given how pass-happy the NFL is and the guy's talent and his speed and size. You expect him to have over 1,000 yards if he can lay off the ganja and stay healthy.
Absolutely. All right. That covers the NFL. That covers the NBA. So right now we want to move into Jack's first segment on his own here. It's going to be the funniest things he saw this week in sports. So he is making one bold entrance right now onto the camera. As you can see, Jack, why don't you take it away, buddy?
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for having me again this week.
Good thing, bud.
As you can see, I'm not a co-host anymore, which is perfectly fine because I think Corey's doing an excellent job as it is.
Hey, thanks,
so
pal.
Good for you. So basically, Joey kind of touched on it, what I'll be doing. I just kind of go through ESPN and everything to see good plays, bad plays, funny plays, all stuff like that. So I got 2 of them for you today. The first one is the Minnesota United goalkeeper who threw the ball in his own goal. Did you guys see that one?
Oh, I sure did.
I did.
Oh my God, hilarious. Routine pickup, routine throw to the right side of the field. So I think it was a midfielder.
I did see this, actually.
Yeah.
I did see this. Jesus.
Pretty funny. As he goes to throw, I don't know if the ball got stuck on him or what he was doing, but he threw it. The ball bounced to the other end of the goal. He couldn't get there in time. Point goes to the other team. As a goalkeeper in the past, I can honestly say I've never done that before. I've always been able to hold on to the ball, get rid of it as need be. Never once came close to scoring on myself. I don't know. I think that's just embarrassing.
Oh, it's super embarrassing. I would agree.
I don't understand how it happened, but I don't know.
I mean, he's a soccer player.
You know what they say now. You just never know these days.
Oh my God, stop yourself.
I'm going to leave this show. if this is a common trend where I have to deal with Mike Stud for however long we sit here, I'm going to leave this show.
All right, bud. Keep going.
Keep going, Jack. Sorry.
No problem. But yeah, I mean, words can't really describe. I mean, you saw the video. You're an idiot. Anyway, and then number 2, I only got 2 for you guys today. More along the lines of fun, entertaining. Jim Harbaugh and Bailey did a little rap video for the Michigan Wolverines. It's called "Who's Got It Better Than Us." I thought it was very entertaining. I was expecting Jim to do a little more rapping, but as a white college football coach, I guess he can't really.
Was he wearing khakis?
Yes, he was.
It's like asking if water's wet.
But yeah, it was just the video overall. He just said the same lines over and over. Who's got it better than us? And then the crowd would respond with nobody, and then Bailey would take over the rap. Little 2.5-minute video, pretty entertaining. Not a whole lot to say about it, but if you guys can check it out, I think it's worth it. But overall, those 2 plays for this week really caught my eye. I don't know. Do you guys have anything to say about it?
Jim Harbaugh will do anything to get recruits to go to Michigan. 100%.
Yeah, that's true. Jesus.
That guy is.
Didn't he sleep over at a recruit's house?
He sure did on their couch.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, the guy wants to win. I mean, he was a great coach in the NFL, and he's doing it right now in college. I mean, good for him.
Other than that,
but yeah, so Jim and the Minnesota United goalkeeper, you guys made my list. Congratulations. One for a good reason, one not so good, but hey, just work on it.
All right, bud. We're going to see you back here next week.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for being here. Are you going to go the same way?
Yeah.
All right,
thing. I wasn't expecting this intro at all. To be honest, I thought we were going to stop.
So did I. No, Jack's just flying, dude.
That's not how I play.
Jack just, he does his own thing.
Let's just make sure he doesn't.
It's great.
I was about to say, please don't knock over the camera.
Yeah, no.
That would have been great.
All righty. So,
oh, my Lord.
Thank you, Jack. First of many from him, I'm sure, on that.
Oh, and a side note, for both you guys or the fans out there, I still need a name for my segment. So,
right, yeah.
If they have any ideas, just message us, tweet us, do something. Just let us know, and we'll filter through them and try to pick the best one.
We sure will, yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a lot to filter through.
Yeah, tons. Anyways.
You never know.
Never. You did that to yourself.
I hate myself.
You did that to yourself.
Oh, I hate myself.
Okay, now let's jump into what I've been waiting to talk about this whole time.
As
really.
have I.
Yeah, baseball. There's just a lot going on today, especially in Chicago baseball. I want to start with the Aroldis Chapman deal. Aroldis Chapman, if you didn't hear, is coming over to the north side for 4 players. The Cubs' number 1 prospect, the Cubs' number 4 prospect, Torres, Adam Warren's going back to New York, who he was just with last season. The Cubs acquired him for Starlin Castro in the offseason. Billy McKinney, and a high A center fielder, Rashad Crawford.
I've never heard of him before.
He's kind of just basically he's a real high-end speedster guy. He's a center fielder.
Is he in their top 30?
No, I don't think he is. So Chapman goes for 4 players. The number, obviously, the prize in this deal being Gleyber Torres.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on this deal for the Chicago Cubs?
Well, I feel like people are a little overreacting. I've seen it all over Twitter. You get it from the big names, too. You get it from the Sarah Spains, and you get it from the David Kaplans. Yeah, well, David Kaplan makes my eyes roll. Sarah Spain can do whatever she does for you. But
not a fan.
Yeah, the Cubs coming into the trade, they were 55-1 when leading after the 8th inning. So their bullpen hasn't been terrible by any stretch of the imagination. If you had to pick a weakness for them, it probably would be that bullpen. I mean, you follow the Cubs a little bit more closely than I do. And a few reasons I see people freaking out is because Aroldis Chapman is, again, probably not the best human being around. He had charges filed against him for domestic violence against a woman.
Right.
Those charges were later dropped.
Right.
And-
Suspension.
Yeah, he served, what was it, a 30-day suspension?
30 game suspension.
30 games
without pay.
Without pay, yeah. So he's already served a suspension this year for that. And, excuse me. And another reason why I've seen Cub fans, or just baseball fans in general, complaining about the trade for the Cubs is that who they had to give up to get him. How do you say his first name? Is it Glenbar Torres?
Gleyber
Torres?
Yeah.
Gleyber Torres. He was the Cubs' #1 overall prospect, and according to the MLB.com prospect rankings by Jim Callis, he was number 24 overall, and he's expected to be. He's just a stud.
Right,
he's expected to be a stud. And Billy McKinney was the player they traded, or they received when they traded Jeff Samardzija. What was it, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm. With Russell, he came with Russell.
Yeah, he came with Russell, of course, and he was the Athletics' first-round pick in 2013, I believe.
Yeah.
And Adam Warren's gone, and
Crawford.
I have nothing to say about Crawford or Warren, really. But some people feel like the 4-for-1 was too much for the Cubs to give up for a team that has only lost one game when leading after the 8th inning. But at the same time, you have to look at the fact that Torres is blocked. He is as blocked as he can be because the middle infielders that the Cubs have, they have Javi Baez, Addison Russell, Ben Zobrist. You have their first-round pick from last year, Ian Happ, who has been playing relatively well since his move to second base. He wasn't going to get time up here to be the stud that he was going to be. And at some point, Cub fans have taken pride in their previous years of having the best farm system maybe that some baseball analysts have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Torres was part of that. But at some point, you have to realize that they're not sellers anymore. They're right there. They are the best team in baseball. They're right there. They're trying to get their first World Series since 1908. And at some point, you got to do something that pushes you over the top. And if a 2-month rental of Aroldis Chapman, because there is speculation that he has not signed a long-term deal. He is going to test free agency, and there were reports saying that he loved the city of New York, so it's possible once the season's over he can go back to the Yankees, and the Cubs would have lost him and all those players for essentially nothing unless they win the World Series.
Right.
This is what it's all about. They've played patiently. They haven't overspent on too much. You could talk about the Jason Hayward deal, or you could talk about whatever you want to talk about as far as overpaying goes, but they've done everything the right way, it seems. And yeah, sure, they overpaid for Aroldis Chapman, but if they win a World Series, does it matter?
It does not.
It doesn't matter. So it's all about what happens in October. Sure, they're 55-1 right now when they have that lead after the 8th inning, but teams are better come October. You have the best of the best come October, and I feel like Cub fans are a little bit happier trusting Aroldis Chapman with the ball in the 9th inning as opposed to Hector Rondon.
Now, let me tell you this. As a diehard Cubs fan, I woke up this morning and I jumped out of bed and I was screaming, "Thank God we did this."
I would have killed to see a video of that, but continue.
So, man, I'm happy they did this. I look at this and I'm like, all right, if you're saying we overpaid for Aroldis Chapman, I don't think you're correct. And here's why. Don't go, oh man, you're crazy. No. Besides Torres, what did we really give up? Adam Warren's ERA is over 5. They just sent him down to AAA.
Billy McKinney can break.
Billy McKinney he's not good this year, flat out.
But he still has I still feel like he has an outstanding hit tool.
That's fine. He hits. Our outfield's fine. All right, we're good. Almora came up, showed huge promise this year. I think that helped with getting rid of McKinney. We've still got Hayward locked up. We've got Schwarber coming back next year. Soler, if he shows anything, he can be a 4th outfielder. So McKinney, again, where are you going to play him in coming years?
Was McKinney in the top 100 overall?
He was last year.
Okay. I know they're doing the re-rankings relatively soon.
He was when he came over. He was.
Yeah, I do think they overpaid, but I don't think it's a bad thing that they overpaid. I hope that point's coming across. Is that they're doing this to get over the top.
And the other thing is, if you don't do this deal, if you don't give up Torres in this deal, San Francisco or Washington, they're going to go get him. And then come October, you're facing them in the NLCS, you're going to have to face him in a playoff game in the 8th, 9th inning.
And I'm pretty sure the Cubs hitters don't want to face a guy who can throw 105 miles an hour.
No, absolutely not.
He doesn't throw it just once, too. I believe it was his last outing for the Yankees before he got traded. He had 11 straight pitches where they were over 99 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's a freak thing to do, really. In my opinion, he's the best closer in the league. Like,
I would say so.
100%.
I would say so.
You get dominating 100+ miles an hour, a wipeout slider, and the changeup that he's added is fairly good. It's good enough to go with the dominant slider and the dominant fastball.
But the fact is that fastball is so good. It's got good movement, but it's so fast.
Lefties, they have that natural movement on their fastball already, so you throw it that hard.
Yeah, and there's not many people who can catch up to a 105 mile an hour fastball. And if they are, they're probably on the Cubs. So
yeah, right. Yeah, I love this. I absolutely love this. And Torres, good luck to you. Like, honestly,
I really feel like the Yankees are going to be thrilled with what they get in him because the shortstops are probably one of the most prominent positions that you see younger players coming up. You have Carlos Correa, you're going to have Torres, you have Addison Russell. Even on the south side of Chicago, Tim Anderson is proven to be more than what we expected him to be.
Right.
And he's probably not up there as far as ranked as one of the top young shortstops yet, but he will be. But regardless, the Yankees are going to be very satisfied with this trade when they can, move Gregorius out of there and when Torres comes up in a couple of years.
And they've got another shortstop prospect. That's
Mateo.
Yeah,
he's their number one overall prospect too.
He was till Torres came.
Oh well.
Yeah.
But, I looked at it earlier.
Right.
I looked at it earlier today. They hadn't updated it after the trade. I was like, I don't see him in here, but it didn't click for me.
Torres and McKinney both hopped in their top 5. So they've got Aaron Judge up there. They've got Gary Sanchez, the catcher. So again, the Yankees are getting younger here. I mean,
Sanchez probably falls out of that top 5, I would think.
Yeah, maybe. I thought he was in there still, but we'll see. Now with the Yankees, I'm real intrigued in the next 4 to 5 days, next week or so, to see, are they gonna blow this thing up? Are they gonna sell Carlos Beltran? Are they gonna sell Andrew Miller? Are they gonna?
They should.
Pineda. I mean, come on.
They should.
They definitely should.
That's the thing too. It's another thing the White Sox are honestly waiting on is the Yankees to make their final move with Andrew Miller. Because Miller has, again, excellent value as a late inning reliever. He could close. He would be a closer on most teams.
He's going to close again now.
Yeah, well, yes, but I mean, the Yankees are not doing much this year.
Mediocre.
They really are, and you can't be stubborn. I know the Yankees management has always been bye.
Steinbrenners don't want to give all these guys up, but
yeah. So the reason why the White Sox are waiting too is because David Robertson's a trade candidate, and you got to see where no one's going to go after David Robertson over Andrew.
Miller's going to set the market basically.
Yeah,
and I think that helps with Robertson, with Wade Davis, who's probably on the move.
Yeah,
as
Wade Davis is. The Royals are going to be sellers as well. They're looking for big league ready young.
Did you see what they wanted from the Nationals? They asked for Giolito for Wade Davis.
Wow.
So if that happens, I'm again looking at this going, okay, thank you. Thanks for the best closer in the league for Gleyber Torres.
Giolito's really good.
Oh, he's a stud. Absolutely. He's he's best prospect in baseball. Number 1 overall.
Is he really?
Yeah, sure is.
Okay. I didn't see that, but I really didn't look at the list. So
right, yeah. When he came up, he was rated as number 1 prospect in baseball when he made that 1 start for the Nationals. So
it's wild.
It's crazy if they give that up. But I think both teams really win this deal.
I don't think there is a loser per se. And now the only way I would see it be a losing effort for the Cubs is if they don't win the World Series. If they don't win the World Series and they gave up 2 of their top 5 prospects and didn't win it all, or if it would probably go hand in hand, he somehow off the field implodes. Sure. He gets involved in another domestic violence issue or whatever happens that he can't contribute. I would say that's a loss for the Cubs.
I would say if they don't win the World Series, but he resigns, I don't say it's as big of a loss. It's still kind of like okay.
Well, I mean, if you keep him, you still get to make a run with him.
Right.
And they were talking about. I follow a couple of people on Twitter who are not, they're not the Ken Rosenthals of Twitter, but I follow the guy who got the first information about the James Shields trade to the White Sox. And he was talking about how the Cubs had been negotiating a 4-year deal with Aroldis Chapman, and that was going to be pending with the trade. But obviously the trade went through. So they're still negotiating with him. They're still going to try to get some sort of deal locked down with him.
I hope they do.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
You should.
Because this just kind of pushed everything back. Now Rondon's your setup man, and even if
What's it? C.J. Edwards is your eighth inning guy or seventh inning guy. Seventh inning guy.
Really,
yeah,
really nice. He kind of looks like a giraffe, but I love him.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
super
him.
skinny.
Oh man, but he's. It's weird how you could throw a baseball that fast at that small, But
I mean, look at Chris Sale.
Yeah, true.
Leading into the next topic,
Pedro Strop.
Oh, I was really excited.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to do it there.
Dang it!
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Pedro Strop. We can talk about
Pedro Strop. He's inconsistent as an eighth inning man. I like him better as kind of a sixth, seventh inning guy. Travis Wood's still there. I mean, the bullpen gets better. I still think they got
Montgomery too.
Montgomery, God, yeah, that was a good pickup there.
Well, you got Montgomery. You got Nathan.
Nathan was awesome in his one appearance so far this year. I know he's on his third elbow, so it leaves some questions there because he's had 2 Tommy John surgeries.
But now that you have Aroldis Chapman, you don't have to really rely on Nathan as much. The depth of the bullpen has basically been pushed down.
Correct.
Which is great.
Yeah, so I love it all around as a Cub fan. So thank you, Theo. In Theo I trust, in Theo I love. You're a great man. You are my goal.
I'm kind of jealous.
Yes. So you're going to get paid in the offseason. Will the Cubs continue to add, do we think? Are they going to add another reliever? Are they going to add a starter? Are they going to add an outfield piece? What are they, or are they not going to add anything? Are they going to go into September, October with this?
I don't think they need to add any sort of positional players. I really don't think so, because they have depth on depth on depth at the field position, or the position players. I would try to see what you can do to add a starter.
Mm-hmm.
I know you would be taking a risk with somebody like Sonny Gray, or Jose Quintana's available, but
oh man, not paying that price.
He's so good. But anywho, yeah, because you've got Jake Arrieta, Jake Arrieta's an ace. I'm not gonna try to trash Jake Arrieta. He is an ace, and he's under contract with the Cubs for 1 more year after this.
Arbitration.
Okay.
He's in arbitration, so
okay.
Yeah, you've got control of him. He can't leave.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what his exact contract situation is.
He's got a weird contract because he was in the minors for so long. Obviously, he doesn't have any of the service time.
Yeah,
so he's still in his arbitration. Weird. Yeah.
And I don't know if you know. I'm sure I've mentioned it to you before. I'm not the biggest fan of John Lester.
Yeah, I know.
I think John Lester is probably one of the best number 2s in the game.
He's having a really good season.
I know. I wouldn't consider him an ace. Just kind of like you wouldn't consider Jose Quintana an ace. Both of them are all-stars. Both of them are great pitchers, but I wouldn't consider Lester an ace. I figure Hamill and Hendricks got to come back to earth at some point.
I mean, I think Hendricks is so good. I'm so high on Kyle Hendricks. Jason Hamill, I agree 100%. And the guy's not going to be as good as he has been, especially if he keeps eating those potato chips. I don't think that is a actual cure, as we talked about last week a little bit. But, man, Kyle Hendricks is good. He reminds me, not to compare him to Greg Maddux, but the way he pitches is like Greg Maddux. Not to say he's going to be anywhere near as good. Obviously Greg Maddux is a Hall of Famer, so... God.
I mean, the only thing with acquiring another starter, and again, how's Lackey been recently?
He's been kind of shaky.
A little shaky?
But I trust John Lackey, especially in October. He's got my full trust. The guy, he's a workhorse.
The only reason why I'm a little iffy on their rotation is because I'm waiting for Hamill and Hendricks to come back to earth, and I'm waiting for John Lackey's age to show, because he's 37, I believe.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not as high on Lester as you are. And even Jake Arrieta has regressed a little bit. I mean, he wasn't gonna throw 2 no-hitters a year. He wasn't gonna not give up a run for however many innings he gave up. I believe his stats coming into today, he's 12-4 with a 2.60 ERA. So those are ace-like numbers, and that's him. That's below what Cub fans have seen from him in previous years, or the previous year. But again, you couldn't have expected him to keep at that pace. My only question is, if they acquire a starter, is who is the odd man out?
Hamill.
If that happens,
Hamill,
you think?
I think if come playoff time, Hamill would be your long reliever in the bullpen. And Hendricks, if they add somebody, Hendricks is your 4.
So then what happens with Lackey?
That's a good point.
Because you only need 4 starters basically when it comes to playoff time, because you're not playing 5 straight days or anything like that. You can work with your off days.
Yeah.
So you would have Arrieta and Lester at the top.
Now, if they add somebody, depending on who they add, I mean, is it it's not. I don't think it's going to be a Sonny Gray. I think that's out of the question now. Is it I don't think it's a Teheran either from Atlanta. I don't think they're going to move him.
Yeah, they have him locked up for a while. I don't think they will.
So, I don't know who it would be. I mean, it's not going to be, obviously, it's not going to be Jose Quintana. They're not going to pay that price. I mean...
Well, I don't know what I would want in the Cubs system anymore.
Yeah, right. You would have wanted Torres, I assume. So, I don't know what they would add. I'd like to see a pitcher. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to see the depth, but barring that pitcher is good enough to be a 3...
Well, maybe get you a guy who can kind of do something like a little bit of both. Like maybe try to acquire a long reliever, or something like that, who maybe can make an emergency start if something was to happen.
Something goes wrong, right? Yeah, but I would like to see, even say they don't add anybody, I would like to see Kyle Hendricks starting in Game 3 over a John Lackey, over a Jason Hamill. I would put Jason Hamill in the bullpen altogether, and I would use Lackey as a 4. I would Hendricks to me.
Lackey would be a fine 4.
Yeah, and Hendricks to me has emerged this year. This guy, he's got confidence. I was at a game where he struck out 12 guys in 6 innings. Like, he, in my opinion, he's the best 5 in baseball, if you even consider him a 5 anymore, which we really shouldn't. We should probably consider him a 3 or 4, a 4 with the Cubs over Hamill, but I think the guy's a beast. That might be a little biased. His numbers are great. I mean,
it's just, how old is he? Is he young or is
he's young?
He's young, okay. Because I've never seen him this good.
24. 25.
I've never seen him this good, but maybe that's because he's young.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting some sort of regression at some point, but...
Well, I think Chris Bosio has done a great job, pitching coach. I think he's a real nice fit.
He's a great pitching coach.
Yeah, he sure is. Okay, enough about the Cubs. Let's talk about the Chicago White Sox for a little while here.
Chris Sale, baby!
Yeah, Chris Sale.
Can I have some alcohol before this?
Yeah, there's some right there, actually.
Okay.
You need a sip real quick? We are all
please.
over. We all are all over 21. Before you freak out, Corey is 22. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chris Sale. Why don't you go ahead? This is your team, so I'm going to let you take the reins here and explain this Chris Sale situation.
I mean, you want me to just talk about what happened?
Yeah, go ahead, big guy. This is your team right here.
I mean, it's not even painful for me anymore because it's hilarious. It is utterly just hilarious how. I almost swore how bad this team is just run.
Yeah, man.
So, I don't remember what year of throwback they were wearing because they wear their 83s and Chris Sale's never had a problem with the 1983 throwback.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 1976. And those uniforms are kind of garbage.
Yeah.
But, apparently, the way it goes is the starting pitchers are supposed to have input on what uniforms the teams are wearing for their given starts.
Mm-hmm.
And when Chris Sale walked in for his start, he saw that, I don't know if he hated it because it was ugly or because it's bulky or whatever the issue is. He saw that jersey and he asked politely that they not wear those that day. And they said, the management, they talked to him and I guess they told him that they can't change it because it's a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't like that response.
He went berserk.
So he proceeded to get some scissors and just change up the jerseys a little bit. Change up the jerseys with those scissors. Yeah.
So he cut the jerseys.
He cut the jerseys, and there's speculation that there were jokes being made at some point about him being traded, and that probably didn't sit very well with him.
That would piss me off too if I'm Chris Sale.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't confirm that was
right, yeah,
legit.
No.
It's just people I follow on Twitter who are closer to the team than I am. But yeah, it's just a joke. Chris Sale acted like a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Chris Sale is your ace. He is the best player on your team, and you gotta please your superstar. I mean,
just to play devil's advocate here on the side of Chris Sale, I don't necessarily agree with what he did, but just to play that devil's advocate, he has been known in years past. Rick Hahn has named him as an untouchable. He's the franchise. He's the guy we will not part with. And now all of a sudden,
and for good reason.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden, I'm listening on everybody. I'm listening on Sale. I'm listening on Quintana. So that that would probably rub me the wrong way too.
I just wanted to make it clear they're not trying. They were trying to talk to other teams about trades before this incident happened.
Right.
Yeah, just making sure.
Yeah, that came up before, and I was listening to Ken Rosenthal is like, listen, when you're out there pitching, and he makes roughly $9 million, so like $300,000 to start, so $3,000 a pitch roughly. You got to make these pitches count. Like if he's uncomfortable in the uniform, and it costs him maybe a fastball 2 inches over the plate where it shouldn't have been, and that's a home run. Now that's 2 runs, 3 runs. This is going to cost him money potentially. You know, I mean, I'm not saying like, okay, that's fact, that's perfect math, but just to play devil's advocate, he should have reason to be a little upset.
I don't know if it's costing him money though, because he's under contract for the next 3 or 4 years.
I'm just saying down the line, potentially down the line.
I mean, right now, the White Sox should be listening on Chris Sale all the time.
Yeah.
Any time of day, 365 days a year, because he is the most valuable asset in all of baseball, because he is making $43 million through the rest of his contract, which runs, I believe, another 3 or 4 years. And he's an ace. He is probably the top pitcher that's active right now because Clayton Kershaw's out. So you can get so much for him in a trade offer. You should be listening all the time, because you can get a team's top 5 to 7 prospects, and that might not be considered overpaying.
And that's what you would want, correct? Is the top 5 prospects in someone's system.
At top 5 prospects in someone's system, or top couple prospects, and then young, controllable, major league ready players, which is why the Red Sox are so intriguing, because they have players like
Mookie Betts, Jackie Bradley,
all of those. So you should be listening to that constantly for those trade offers.
I'm going to ask you, what is your dream? I probably already know the answer to this, but what is your dream package for Chris Sale? What is, you wake up and this puts an absolute smile on your face?
Whew. Now, I had the Red Sox system loaded up earlier on my phone. I don't have it right this second. I actually haven't dreamt of a Sale scenario. I've dreamt of more of a Quintana's.
Because that's probably the
I feel like he's more likely to be moved, because, again, he still has a very valuable contract as well. I think he makes $26 million total over the course of a 6-year contract, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
For what he is. Just so people know, because I know Joey won't say it unless I say it, Chris Sale and Jose Quintana since 2013 ranked 5th and 6th overall as WAR for pitchers, so wins above replacement for pitchers. So Jose Quintana is indeed a top 10 pitcher in baseball.
Oh, boy.
I'm giving you statistics. And with the contract he has, I feel like he is more movable than Chris Sale, because people look at Quintana's record and they don't realize that he gets 1 or 2 runs of support for every single
He gets
game.
like the least amount of run support in the league for a starting pitcher.
It's criminal.
Just look at the other day. You were at that game. They blew that lead.
Yeah, but that was after he was out.
Well, I know.
But the point is, he didn't get the win for it. He threw 6 in.
That's what I'm saying.
He threw 6 and 2/3 innings and didn't give up a run.
No decision king.
Yeah, he is the no decision king. So my dream scenario that I've been thinking of is package him up with possibly David Robertson, because the Red Sox have been coveting David Robertson, according to, again, the guy who broke the James Shields news on Twitter. I would trade them to Boston, and I would want Moncada, Yohan Moncada, who is going to be a stud at second base.
Yeah.
Andrew, I got to remember how to pronounce his name, Benintendi.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it either. So
Benintendi, who was drafted right before Carson Fulmer, was it last year, and there was actually speculation that the White Sox had Benintendi. I'm going to do that all the time. Sorry, guys. Had he been on the board when the White Sox picked, they would have had a very tough time choosing between Fulmer and Benintendi. But he's a center fielder right now. He's probably going to get promoted to AAA sometime soon. He's been tearing it up at AA. He's their number 3 overall prospect, according to MLB.com. Beyond that, I would probably ask for... Those 2 would be the key pieces returning. I'd probably ask for Pride of Providence Catholic, Sam Travis, the first baseman who unfortunately suffered a torn ACL. But the guy can just flat out rake. He's been doing it since high school, and he's been doing it in the minors as well. And beyond that, probably, I don't know his name. I haven't looked for his name. Their best pitching prospect.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would want for Q and Robertson.
Yeah, I think that's probably, to be honest, I think Dave Dombrowski would give it up.
I think he would. The reason why I asked you earlier if Giolito was the number 1 prospect in all of baseball was because I thought Moncada was.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm obviously not correct on that. But Moncada's going to be a stud.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And imagine, I know it's hard because White Sox fans have never really seen a rebuild, but if you restock the minors with 3 hitters like that, or if you can get more for Jose Quintana, while still managing to keep Chris Sale, by 2018 you're going to have Moncada up, you're going to have Benintendi up, you could have Sam Travis up by that time with Tim Anderson. And if you were to unload these other pieces for, one prospect a piece who can be serviceable, I'm not saying a top 100 prospect,
no.
but Melky could probably get you something because Melky's hitting over 300. Frazier can get you like his third base is very valuable, and he's got 28 or 29 home runs.
That's need him badly.
Yeah.
Let me put this into perspective for you and other White Sox fans. Who's the last hitter that you drafted and developed and was productive?
Before Tim Anderson.
Right, yeah. This is.
I would say Frank Thomas.
You would probably be correct in that.
Because the only hitters that I can think of that they've drafted, besides Frank Thomas, is Gordon Beckham.
Yeah, and he was a bust.
Gordon Beckham is a bust.
I had someone tell me Maglio Ordonez, but he wasn't drafted by the Sox. He was an international free agent.
Yeah, that's right. Maglio Ordonez was a fantastic player.
If you want to count him, he wasn't technically drafted, but I would say.
Yeah, they
Thomas.
didn't. I mean, it's tough because you did scout him.
Yeah. You did
so
that.
if you want to count Maglio Ordonez, fine. I'm not going to argue on that because he was a fantastic hitter for the White Sox. But before that, a guy they drafted and developed, went through their farm system, got to the pros, and was just an absolute stud was probably Frank Thomas.
Right, and yeah. So that puts that in perspective.
Guys, the last time Frank Thomas played for the White Sox was 2005. That's 11 years ago. So.
Yeah. I think you unload these pieces, you're fine. You're set.
I really do. If it was up to me, I would tear it down completely.
Yo, Jerry Reinsdorf, hire us.
Please.
I said this last week. Take a chance. I'll make you a lot of money in the future.
If you get rid of, think about it, if you just get rid of Sale and Q,
yeah,
you get 9 prospects back. If you make them all hitters, that could be a lineup one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyday players.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what teams are doing now. They're loading up on the hitting because it's a lot less risky if you draft or trade for hitting prospects. Because say you trade for a high school arm, well, he's 4 or 5 years away. Anything can happen with pitchers. Pitchers are tearing their UCLs like crazy, getting tons of Tommy John. So the safer pick is to go for these hitting prospects.
And then another thing, too, that gets overlooked because the White Sox get absolute shit on. Oh, I swore. They get shit on because of their... Thank you. They get that because of their organization's lack of depth in the minor leagues. And that's true with the hitting prospects. The White Sox actually draft pitching relatively well. They drafted Chris Sale. They have a good eye for pitching, I should say, overall, because I was going to mention they stole Jose Quintana from the Yankees for nothing.
Yeah.
The Yankees had given up on him, and the White Sox turned him into a top 10 pitcher in baseball. They drafted Carlos Rodon, who is currently injured. He's had his ups and downs. I think they rushed him a little bit.
They did.
But I think he can work it out. They drafted Carson Fulmer, who was probably the best pitcher in college baseball last year. They have Spencer Adams in the minors. They have Jordan Guerrero in the minors. They have a bunch of...
And they traded Montas, who's a pretty decent pitching prospect also. They traded him
Montas, yeah, to the Dodgers in the Frazier deal. Yeah, but he's been injured a lot.
Yeah.
But they have a good eye for pitching. And if you can draft young controllable pitching or have the eye to recognize players like Jose Quintana, who was on the scrap heap, or even Miguel Gonzalez, who is actually starting for the White Sox tonight against the Cubs. So
now.
so if he's getting lit up, I want to get this in real quick before he gets lit up. He was a really good find for them as a number 5 pitcher, as opposed to Matt Latos, who they used to have. So they have a good eye for pitching, but they haven't been able to do anything with hitting. They have draft picks from 5 or 6 years ago who are hitters, who are still in their system and as high as AA because they just can't grasp hitting. They just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can trade the proven values that you have with Q and Sale at their absolute highest value right now to get 8 or 9 great prospects who can fill up a lineup, that's it. Your rebuild's done right there.
Easy work, in my opinion. Okay.
I would do it.
Real quick, who should be left standing on this team, say, lineup rotation-wise and front office-wise? Who should be left standing after the season?
Fire Robin. Fire Kenny Williams. I really want to believe in Rick Hahn. I really do, because I feel like he put a good team together on paper. It was just
You got to do it on the field.
On the field, because he acquired. I believe he was in charge of acquiring Jose Abreu. He was in charge of acquiring Adam Eaton, which was a great deal for the White Sox. It was a great deal for a lot of sides. As far as on the field goes, well, I would give if Avisail Garcia is a White Sox in 2018, I might quit. Like, I might just be done with sports for the rest of my life. I feel like Adam Eaton is going to stay. I feel like Melky's gone if they can get a partner for Melky, because Melky's a very good hitter. Something tells me Todd Frazier's going to stay. I don't know what it is more than just a gut decision.
Yeah.
I feel like Tim Anderson is the only untouchable piece because he is so.
He's going to be your cornerstone to build around.
Basically,
yeah.
I feel like in my scenario, I feel like Anderson and Eaton are staying because they're both relatively young and they can be like the Anthony Rizzos when all the prospects come up, and they can help them adjust to major league life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Laurie's going to stay because no one's going to take him.
Yeah.
I like Brett Laurie. I do. I don't think he's in high demand. I think the only way Abreu goes is if he's going to Texas, because Prince Fielder.
Well, Prince is going to have surgery. He's done. So.
Yeah. Beyond this year, neither of the catchers are going to stay. But, yeah, that's where I'm at as far as that goes. And then the rotation. If the best pitcher in their rotation is Carlos Rodon on August 2nd because Sale and Quintana got traded, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah. My take on this is everybody should be gone. That means Kenny. That means Rick Hahn. Sorry, you had your shot. Whatever. You got to move on. Robin, you should have been gone long ago, in my opinion. I think you're one of the worst managers in the league. I think
he should have been gone at the end of 2014.
I think he loses a lot of games I think
his bullpen management is horrendous.
Terrible. You look across town, Joe Madden, what he does, and then you look at Robin Ventura. It's not even close.
I'm hoping that the White Sox fire Robin and hire Davey Martinez.
Yeah. I just really hope they get rid of everything. Just as a baseball fan. As a Cub fan, it is what it is. I'm never going to like the White Sox, but I like baseball. I love baseball, so I want to see them. I want to see competitive teams. Am I going to laugh at Sox fans now?
Oh, you do.
Yeah, because they've been doing it to me my whole entire life.
He's got a bullying complex. We can work that out in therapy.
I've been taking this beating for probably 15, 16 years now, ever since I could grasp the concept of baseball at age 4 or 5, whatever. But yeah, get rid of everybody. Hire me if you need to when Rick Hahn is fired. I will fix it for you. I'll bring Corey. I'll bring on Corey. Don't worry about it there. But yeah, get rid of everything. Start fresh. You got to do this over. And real quick,
White Sox fans deserve it.
Yeah, and we'll wrap this up real quick here with the Crosstown Classic is starting. It's already started. Yep. It's today.
The Sox are currently winning 1-0 in the top of the fourth.
Ha!
Well, that kind of sucks.
They're trash.
But
that doesn't mean anything.
No, not yet.
It doesn't mean a damn
So
thing.
prediction. How many? I'm going to say the Cubs take 3 or 4. They only lose to Chris Sale on Thursday.
Exactly. The Cubs are only going to lose to Chris Sale.
Yeah. Okay. And
have some faith. God damn it!
I have faith in my team. Thank you.
I have none in mine.
Corey has logic.
I have hope. That's what I have. I have hope.
And we had the Hall of Fame induction on Sunday. We had Ken Griffey Jr. get in. The kid got in.
White Sox great Ken Griffey Jr.
My God.
for that 1/2 season and 1 throw in game 163.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Mike Piazza got in.
That's
So congratulations to those guys. All-time greats.
Mike Piazza, probably the greatest hitting catcher ever.
Ever, yeah. Ken Griffey Jr.
You don't need to hear much about Ken
Man,
Griffey.
he's a stud.
That beautiful left-handed swing.
Absolutely. So congratulations to them. A really, really good ceremony. I love to see the guys with the passion, crying, doing their speeches, all that stuff.
Griffey turning the hat backwards.
Turning the hat backwards. The suit that said Hall of Fame Class 2016. That was cool. That about does it for this week of the Sports Corner. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for watching. I want to thank Corey for being here. Co-host, he'll probably be back.
I think he should stay as co-host because he has a lot of input, opposed to Trevor and I was just kind of there for the looks.
Jack, it's all right, man.
What, you saying I don't have looks? You saying I don't have looks?
All right.
I still love you, man. Thank you, Jack, for being here as always.
You guys see me again.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Sure thing.
Figure out the name for my segment. I really need one.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. That does it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. That'll be in the description below.
Don't let him dab. Don't let him dab.
He's gonna dab.
And we are going to end it right there. So we will see you guys next week.
Stay classy as usual.